Okay, why unions are necessary. Unions make for a stronger, happier, and healthier workforce. Despite the union's many faults and weaknesses, you are left with one indisputable fact at the end of the day. Nothing has ever been invented that has been as successful and positive in representing the needs and rights of the workers. Since the early 1800s, the labor movement has fought for and provided the worker with many, many things, including the end to child labor, paid overtime, workers' compensation, unemployment benefits, minimum wage, health insurance, the elimination of discrimination by ethnicity, color, religion, sex, or national origin, paid sick leave, vacations, holidays, and family medical leave, and a relatively new term in history called weekends. Before unions, there were no such things as weekends. People worked 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. You wanted to go home, then you get fired. People believe that the U.S. labor movement was made obsolete by globalization and technological change. But in reality, what really happened was in the early part of the 1970s, corporate America thought unions to be bad for their bottom line, so they waged an open war. Including hardball tactics enabled by a political environment, they became hostile to organized labor. They involved corporate media, and they even got politicians involved. And in the 80s, Ronald Reagan signed the White House up for war against labor, signing into effect the North Atlantic Free Trade Association, which shipped a lot of our steel industries, shutting a lot of towns down almost overnight to China. Now we pay China in Japan for an inferior product every year equal to the amount of the entire GDP of Indiana and Illinois combined. So we used to make the best steel in this country, not anymore. Now a lot of people say, well, what about dues? That union dues, it seems like a ripoff, It may seem a lot like extortion, as a matter of fact. It couldn't be further from the truth. Now, depending on the level of democratic control in the union members may have a little to a great deal to say over the level of dues, what dues are used for, and how often dues are collected. Many union members pay dues out of their wages, although some unions collect dues separately from the paycheck. Union dues may be used to support a wide variety of programs and activities, including paying the salaries and benefits of full or part-time union leaders and or staff, union governance, legal representative, legislative lobbying, political campaigns, pension, health and welfare, so on and so forth. As a side benefit, and why I personally don't mind paying dues to be a member of a union, is I don't ever have to fill out another job application ever again. To me, the whole process of sitting through an interview is really degrading, and I don't enjoy it whatsoever. And so, being a member of the union, they speak for me. And when I go to take a job call, I just go to work. I don't have to sit through interviews or fill out job applications anymore. Those are just a few of the tangible differences that unions make. But the intangible differences are the greatest. Without the strength, unity, and security that union solidarity provides, everything a working family has is always at risk, even the bonds of the family. Parents can work all their lives providing for their children, only to see everything swept away by forces that they cannot control. Okay, so go ahead and open it up to a few questions now. Anybody's got anything to say? Open to a little bit of criticism. Please begin on.
So how do you maintain the standards of your worker, like you mentioned you don't have to worry about job interview ever again. Right. How do y'all maintain the standards of your worker pool versus just a regular person coming in, getting their apprenticeship and going to work?
Well, through testing. For example, here in Texas, there is a state testing setup for licensing to regulate electricians. The union standards are set higher. Whereas the state requires a 4-year minimum apprenticeship, the union requires a 5-year minimum apprenticeship. And then goes also the same for non-union electricians who wish to join the union. They have to test in. And if they don't quite meet the union standards, they're placed at a little bit lower classification, and they don't have to go through an apprenticeship program, but they're given more time in the field as a quasi-apprentice before they're allowed journeyman status. If there are problems that arise on the job site between management and employees, there are representatives from the union also that are also workers. They are the union stewards that are familiar with all the rules and regulations and mediating disputes between management and workers. Is there anything else?
What about if a union is threatening to strike and it's maybe not necessarily because of all workers?
Okay. Here in Texas, that's not a problem because of our willingness to work with the state. And the fact that Texas is a right-to-work state, we have signed a no-strike clause with the state promising to not strike. Okay, I guess if that's all, we'll wrap it up. Thank you very much.